Okay, so we're gonna carry on with simultaneous equations, this time a little bit harder. So the coefficients in front of the either x or y variables are not going to be the same. So we're going to have to multiply one equation or the other or both to do elimination. Okay, so same as before, I'll write down the question. Best if you can pause, have a go, and then let's work through it together. Okay, so the first equation is 3x minus y is equal to 23, and 2x plus 3y is equal to 8. Okay, so as before, let's label. So equation 1, equation 2. Now again, so what we see is that neither y's or x's are the same. And it doesn't matter which one we make the same. It's always best to go down the easiest option. And in this case, if we multiply the first equation by 3, what we get is we'll end up with minus 3y, which will easily cancel with 3y. So let's call this new equation equation 3, and let's put this equation here. Okay, so again, we need to multiply everything by 3, which means 3x times 3 is 9x. Here we get minus 3y, and 23 times 3, we get 69. Okay, now it doesn't matter how we cancel, but because they have opposite signs, the y's, it means we're going to have to just add them. So we're going to do equation 2, add equation 3. Okay, so what does that mean? We get 2x plus 9x, which is 11x. The y's cancel, and we get 69 plus 8, which is 77. Okay, so as before, we want to try to get x by itself. Now, how do we do that? Let's list our operator like this. Okay, so because the 11 is multiplying the x, we need to do the opposite, which is division. So let's divide everything by 11. This just becomes x. 77 divided by 11 is 7. Cool. Okay, so as always, we also want to find the y. So to do this, we can either substitute into the first equation or into the second. Doesn't matter. Let's go with the first one. So sub into equation 1. When we do that, we have 3 multiplied by 7 minus y is equal to 23. Okay, so let's do 3 times 7 first, which is 21, minus y is equal to 23. Right, a bit of a problem here because we have minus y. Couple ways of going about this. One way, which we'll talk about this time, is by moving the y to the other side. So if we just list this out quickly, because it's minus y, to get rid of it on this side, we need to add y, and add y on the other side. So we're going to add y. Okay, that gives us 21. The y's cancel. That's equal to 23 plus y. To get y by itself, again, the 23 here is being added, so we need to do the opposite, which is subtract. So that's minus 23 on both sides. That gives us minus 2 is equal to y. Okay, so we get 7 minus 2. Okay, so the next one, again, so best to pause and have a go. So the second equation is 4x plus 3y is equal to 5. And the second one is 2x plus, minus 5y is equal to 9. Okay, let's label as always. Right, similar problem here. The easiest way is if we have a look at the x's this time, all we have to do is multiply this by 2 to get it as 4x, and then we can subtract to get rid of them. So let's times the second equation by 2, and let's call this equation 3. So we times everything by 2. So 2x times 2 is 4x, minus 5y times 2 is minus 10y, and 9 times 2 is 18. And let's call this 3. Let's just highlight them so you can kind of see which ones we're dealing with. Okay, so again, because the signs are the same on the 4x's, we are going to subtract. We can either do 1 minus 3 or 3 minus 1. Let's do 1 minus 3. Okay, so we get 4x minus 4x is 0. We get 3y minus 10y is equal to 5 minus 18. Okay, minus becomes plus. We get 3y plus 10y, which is 13y. 5 minus 18 gives us minus 13. Okay, let's again list out the operators. Okay, to get rid of this 13, because we want just y, the 13 is multiplying the y, so we need to do the opposite, which is division. So let's divide by 13. Okay, so what do we get? We get y is equal to 13 over 13 is 1. There's a minus, so it's minus 1. Cool, okay. As before, we want to try to find x as well. So let's sub into, let's do 2 this time. So if we sub into 2, what we get is we get 2x minus 5 minus 1 is equal to 9. Okay, that gives us 2x minus 5 times minus 1. Minus minus becomes plus, so we get 5 is equal to 9. Okay, so we want to get 2x by itself. The best way to do this is to get rid of the 5 first. So if we look at our operators here, we have the plus 5. Now it's plus, so to do the opposite, we need to do subtract. So let's subtract 5 on both sides. Okay, that gives us 2x is equal to 9 minus 5, which is 4. Okay, then we want to get rid of the 2 on the x. Now, the 2 is multiplying the x, so we need to do the opposite. So let's divide. Let's divide by 2 on both sides. We get x is equal to 4 over 2 is 2. And that's it. We get 2 minus 1. Cool. Okay. Then let's try one more for today. And the equation is 4x plus 3y is equal to 14. And 5x plus 7y is equal to 11. Okay, again, let's label. Right. This time it's a bit trickier because none of them are multiples of each other. So no 4, 8, 12, etc. None of them go into 5, for example. And the same with the other one. What that means is we need to find the lowest common multiple. Doesn't matter if it's x, doesn't matter if it's y. Let's just do x. Now, the best way to do this is to list the numbers out. So we have 4x. Now, 4 can be then 8, then 12, then 16, then 20. Then the 5 can be 5, 10, 15, 20. So they both go into 20s. To get the 5 to a 20, we need to times it by 4. And to get the 4 to a 20, we need to times it by 5. Okay, to do that, let's times equation 1 by 5, and let's call it equation 3. And let's times equation 2 by 4, and let's call this equation 4. Okay, so let's call this equation 3. So equation 3 is we times equation 1 by 5. So we times 4x by 5, which is 20x. We times 3y by 5, which is 15y. And we times 14 by 5, which is 70. Okay, then equation 4, we times everything by 4. 5x times 4 is 20x. 7y times 4 is 28y. And 11 times 4 is 44. Okay, so we have 20x. The signs are the same, so we have to subtract. Doesn't matter if we do equation 3 or 4 first. Let's do equation 3, and let's minus it from equation 4. So we get 20x minus 20x is 0. We get 15y minus 28y is equal to 70 subtract 44. This gives us minus 13y is equal to 26. Okay. Again, let's list our operators. So we get this thing. We want to get rid of the y. Not get rid of the y, sorry. We want to get rid of the thing in front of the y, which is minus 13. It's multiplying, so let's divide. Let's divide by minus 13. Divide by minus 13. This will give us y is equal to minus 2. Okay, we also want to find x. So if we just move over here, and let's sub this into, let's say 1. Okay, we have 4x plus 3 multiplied by minus 2 is equal to 14. Okay, that leaves us with 4x. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6 is equal to 14. Again, let's list the operators like this. We want to firstly isolate the 4x. There's a minus 6 there. It's minusing, so to get rid of it, we need to add. So let's add 6 on both sides. This will leave us with 4x is equal to 14 plus 6, which is 20. And then we want to isolate the x. So the 4 is multiplying the x, so let's divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, that gives us x is equal to 20 over 4 is 5. Okay, as like a bonus, how do you actually know in the exam, if you got this right? The best way to do this is to actually just plug the numbers back in. And I will leave this as like a thing to try after, I guess. All you have to do is plug in the x value you got and the y value into the first equation and see if you get, for example, the 4x plus the 3y, if you get 14, and the second one, if you get 11. And that's it. Okay, thanks.